Don't sleep on this one. The Good House is about the isolated journey of addiction and the burden loved ones bear because of it. Here's my spoiler free review of The Good House. The Good House is an adaptation of Anne Leary's novel of the same name, which was originally published in 2013. Now, I have not read that book, but I'm totally interested in picking it up after seeing this film. I'm curious about what other stakes might exist in the book that didn't play out in this film, because this could have easily been a limited series similar to Mayor of Easttown. The trailer does this film no favors. I thought this was going to be a love story similar to Diane Lane's Nights in Rodanthe, but this is not a romance and it's not a love story. It's deeper than that. And if you're like me and hadn't read the book, then you probably skipped this movie because of the trailer. This film grossed less than $1 million at the weekend box office, and that's a shame because this film is better than the trailer advertised. Sigourney Weaver delivers a good performance. Now, if you're like me and you're a stickler for accents, her Boston accent is intermittent, but it's the character study and the message that reel you in. Sigourney Weaver plays Hildy Good, a closeted alcoholic drowning in debt and drowning in liquor. Is she more than that? Is her character more layered and three-dimensional and complex? Has she survived a traumatic experience that significantly contributed to her alcoholism? Sure, but at her core, she's an alcoholic, and that's the journey we take with this character. I'm always drawn to these stories. Stories about alcohol abuse resonate with me. My father was an alcoholic, and my stepfather was a recovering alcoholic. I've always wanted to get into the mind of an alcoholic to find a way to forgive or come to terms with the ones in my life for the childhood trauma I suffered. That's the brilliance of this film. It's a journey, how it unfolds. It makes absolutely no excuses for her addiction. It makes no excuse for the reason why she can't go into remission, the reason why she can't quit. We're taking this journey with her, and at first it's really funny. It seems like she's casually drinking. But the further along we go on this journey with her, instead of being in her shoes, we're outside, not necessarily judging, but pleading for her to get help. And honestly, I don't think you have to be a recovering alcoholic or even a loved one of someone dealing with this addiction to get the story, to follow along on the journey. I think Sigourney Weaver does a great job unveiling, letting us behind the veil of the compromises alcoholics make to avoid recovery, and making it seem like interventions are unreasonable and forced. Now, this film doesn't necessarily concentrate on how damaged Hildy's children are because of her illness. It's explored, but it's not the focus. The story focuses on how seemingly impossible it is for her to get help, to accept the help available to her, despite the crescendoing of tragedies she inflicts because of her illness. Now, this could have easily been very depressing. This could have been a depressing story to follow, but her use of fourth wall breaking was, I think, a creative way to break up the tension. Sometimes breaking the fourth wall can seem gimmicky, but here it's used like diary entries or an AA meeting share, as a way, I think, to put the viewer in Hildy's shoes, for us to understand that alcoholism is an illness and it's not easy to go into remission. What's brilliant about this story, I find, is as it unfolds, we agree with Hildy. In the beginning, the first act, it's all cool. And then the second act, we're like, okay, wait a minute, this might be a problem. And by the climax, we want help. We want her to get help. Because at first she's just having a few drinks. It seems innocent. That's what I like about this story. It's a journey for the audience. And in that third act, while we're on this journey, by then we're pleading for her to get help, because now she's in her darkest hour. She's at her lowest point. We want an intervention. Don't sleep on this movie. This is a good movie and it's definitely worth a watch.